Dorit, I can't hear you.
So thank you very much, Lisa. Hello and welcome, everyone. We're doing again, we're looking at people's transformational journeys. So many people like last week's show when we did the transformation of Carolina Guterres and really, really enjoyed it. And today we're going to be looking at different kinds of transformations using fruit because fruit is the only thing that really cleanses. And we need to clean out our bodies from all the things that are stuck inside that we've put in and all the things we don't even now know about that are there. And so we breathe things in. We actually inhale in a lot of different things. We're meant to exhale out carbon dioxide, but some of us don't exhale out enough. And so we have to deal with that. And we also, without realizing it, sleep on things that are toxic. When the book is released, which is in 2 weeks, you'll see in Being Healthy all the different ways in which we bring toxicity into our bodies. So I'm going to call in our co-hosts now to speak about their own transformational journeys. What was the moment when fruit got their attention? And how do they get to that place? So we're going to start with our co-host, Lisa.
Hello. Fruit came to my attention with your divine instruction. So I have benefited from Dorit's magical tutelage of her course. And I have always loved fruit. And I started falling prey to the programming about low carb, don't do sugar, or even fruit sugar is bad. All these lies, these spells, and I started my cleanse with a 5-day watermelon cleanse, and watermelon actually was my least favorite fruit, um, but it was a very beginning of a journey that has taken me into the farmer's market, into finding fruits. I mean, I have a whole bowl of fruits from today's farmer market that have taught me so many things. And it's been a joyful journey. And it's also been a hard journey, as Dorit knows, because there's been a lot of deep cleansing, like you talked about. And it has been soul awakening.
Lisa, can you do me a favor and show us your fruits? If you got from the farmers market today, they're fresh from the farmers. And just hold it up for a bit so that people can really have a look at it. And because Lisa lives by the beach, that's why you see Beach Healer by her name. And bring it, yes, all the way to the camera, please. Lovely. Ooh la la. I see some passion fruit. I see some pitaya, also known as dragon fruit. And of course, your favorite fruit, grapes. Thank you so much. Now, Lisa was being kind when she says that watermelon are not her favorite. Actually, she doesn't like watermelon, yet she did the what just tell people what that is, please.
I'm asking you because I just trusted, and I mean, there's so many fruits in here. I have no idea what they are because you don't. I mean, I go to good stores, but you don't see these things.
Bring them up. Bring them all up. Bring them
So
all
what
up.
is this one? Help me identify. I need a fruit identifier.
So I had asked you to get some Asian pears this week, but that's not. It looks like a plum. That looks.
Okay.
The plums are in season right now, so that's definitely a plum. We're going to ask also. Ooh, that's a passion fruit. Ooh la la la
You said
la.
it's going to relax me.
Oh my gosh. So I'm going to give you my favorite recipe for using passion fruit towards the end.
Is it a plum?
Again, a plum. Yes, 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 definitely a plum. Plums are very much in season right now. So I'm glad you're getting the stuff that very much is in season. So passion fruit are also in season right now as well.
Or it's a peach, right?
Yeah. So these are your seeds, yeah. These have huge seeds, your seed fruits, or they're called stone fruits in the United States, stone fruits, because they have the stone in them. They're not really seeds, they're stones. Wonderful, Lisa. Well, congratulations. Can
Yeah.
you show people the pitaya, the dragon
Yes.
fruit?
This is so pretty.
And when you open it, oh my gosh, it's even prettier. Thank you, Lisa. Pardon, can you repeat it?
We were here, you chair. I feel like I have enough fruit for a family of 5, but
oh no, we're meant to eat a lot of fruits and
yes.
indulge in, but to me that would be for one day. Herb, how do you feel about?
Yeah, that's not for a family of 5. That's that's breakfast and lunch right there.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful bounty, though. I must say, it's really
Yeah.
nice to see you have plenty of fruit and bringing so much joy to yourself.
Yeah,
Nice.
Amazing. Thank you.
So, Herb, would you tell us about your own first transformational journey with fruit? How did this come into your psyche or to your knowledge that fruit has this incredible power to assist us in our transformation by first cleaning out and cleansing all the muck?
Well, there's 2 stages, actually, because I grew up most of my life, would you believe, detesting all fruit and vegetables. I never ate it at all. And yeah, it was when I was having a health crisis. I had a chronic fatigue fibromyalgia, and I made a connection with the animals and ditched the animal products, went vegan, and started eating lots of fruit for the first time. And that was when I first went through a transformation on fruit. Like I explained before, I've become an endurance athlete, a really top high level cyclist. So that was my first experience with fruit. And then the second time, which was more in depth, and when the light bulb really went off for me, was another period of time. Went through a health crisis in a dark place, and I plunged into living on all fruit, going a whole month just on watermelon alone. And that has become my most favorite fruit, because that led me to being a fruitarian now for 7 years now. And when I went through that transformation on feasting on watermelon alone, I was going through so much pain and difficulties, many health conditions. I was in chronic pain, waking up every day, tired, lethargic, just so unwell. And within 2 weeks feasting on watermelon, I bounced out of bed full of life and joy for the first time in my life. And I'd always woke up tired and sluggish, and that was a huge light bulb effect. And yeah, I just couldn't go back to eating anything else. Every time I tried to dibble and dabble and experiment with cooked food, the pain would come back, my vibe would lower, would drop. And before I knew it, everything else just didn't appeal to me anymore. And fruit, it was my savior. It really transformed my life and elevated me.
Great. We're going to come back to you with some other questions, because I think most people listening here will think, oh, come on, fruit can't do all that. Oh, if so, why didn't the doctor tell me about it? And I also have had fibromyalgia, or I've had diabetes and I was told to stay away from fruit. So Sabina, what was your first introduction with fruit as a transformative aid for you?
Okay, so right now the sun just blasted up and I couldn't even see the screen. So hello and welcome everyone. Yes, the fruit came in for me, I would say around 2008. I mean, I explored the raw food path many years ago when I was 19, but I was actually focusing more on the vegetables. And I always thought the vegetables are the most potent of all the foods. And they had a huge effect on my life. Really, my digestion completely changed. I was as I mentioned before, as a child, I was only able to go to the bathroom every 3 days. And since I eat a lot of veggies, suddenly I was able to go every day. And I thought I have good digestion, until I heard someone say, I attended a lecture in 2008 on raw foods, that when you go to the bathroom once a day, you're actually constipated. So there was this huge light bulb going off. And then I came across the book of Arnold Ehret, The Mucus-Free Diet and the Mucus-Free System, something like that. And that actually just made sense. It really, everything in this book resonated, and it just was common sense. And I just went going really deep onto the fruits. And I noticed within a short time, I was suddenly going to the bathroom 3 times, 4 times, sometimes 5 times a day, which I never had before. And not only was I able to release very easily, it was pain-free, completely different than all my experience in my youth, suffering from chronic constipation. And this is not fun. If some of you experienced that before, I know, then you know how hard it is when you can't go into the bathroom. I was constantly bloated and just having this feeling of heaviness always in my belly. And then the fruits just opened up a whole new level of being, not just in terms of my digestion and elimination, also the happiness level just went up. That I started to wake up in the morning just giggling and full of life force, and jumping out of bed at 5 in the morning and just feeling happy for no reason. And I never had this before in my life. I often woke up feeling just heavy, not wanting to get up. And the fruit is just like, there's nothing that gets you onto this joy frequency than the fruits. So that's really started, I would say, in 2008, eating first a lot of fruits, and then just, right now I'm eating probably the first part of the day I eat fruits. And then later on I go to salads and some veggies. But my main diet is still, it's really heavily based on the fruits. And I notice whenever I don't eat a lot of fruit, it has an effect on my digestion. So for me, it's like, I can't imagine any other way than eating a lot of fruits. And also, I just love the way they look. I love seeing the colors and the beautiful sacred geometry that's embodied in the fruits. So I just know of all the foods, all the food categories, there's nothing more that has a higher frequency than the fruits.
Absolutely. And that book was Professor Arnold Herrick's book called The Mucusless Diet, which we recommend strongly to everyone if you have a lot of mucus. The Mucusless Diet by Professor Arnold Herrick. Now, and that's a book I recommend to everybody who takes my Being Healthy course, and definitely one of the main books for me. But look what I have for you. So this might be the last week here where I am in Los Angeles for fresh dates straight from the tree. I am absolutely the epitome of what Sabina just said, joyful. And that's what fruits, when we start eating fruits, if you feel depressed, if you feel exhausted, if you feel tired all the time, and you feel like, oh my gosh, I don't want to really continue, well, you need to really tune in and seek a coach, a counselor who works with helping people to transition and cleanse their body first into fruits. Now, Sabina, you've got an event coming up. Can you tell us about it? I think it's on the 4th of October.
Yes, I have a masterclass coming up in collaboration with my friend, Coach John, where we really dive deep into what health really is and all the myths around health and how to be vibrant and strong and flexible at any age. And that health is the true wealth, because it's the most profitable asset we ever have, and it's worth investing it, time, energy, and money, because it will pay off. So we're going to dive deep. And this is probably a 60 to 90 minute masterclass where we then open up also for questions, and it also gives anyone who participates the opportunity to sign up for our 6-week coaching program, where we work with people in a group setting, getting them to their next level health.
And how can people find you and find this information, Sabina?
I have a link on my Facebook page, also on Instagram and YouTube, where you can actually sign up. So you can go on my Facebook is Sabina. It's my Sabina Kurz, Kurz. My Instagram is Sabina Radiance. My YouTube is also Sabina Radiance.
Wonderful. So you see, there are people who are willing to be here for you and help you. And if you're in a lot of pain, I focus on pain, on actually helping you to live literally pain-free. And you heard what Herb said, that he was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. Do you know why the doctors call it fibromyalgia? Because they have no clue. They just know it's pain, and the source of which they have no clue. They don't realize that there's an overabundance of acidity in the body, and that the body is clogged, and the lymph glands are not at all functioning, nor are the kidneys. And unfortunately, that's what they call it, but it's so simple. So let's go and talk the other side of eating food. So we look at the joyful side. If you suddenly start doing what Elisa did, and you've got watermelons for 5 days, your body will cleanse. And the detox is not pleasant. Lisa, tell us about it.
Uh, I'm laughing because it was hard. I don't even just think it's a detox on so many levels. It's not just a physical detox that you're going through. You're also going through an emotional detox and addiction to food, if you will. And I really thought I had COVID. I mean, like I was really hot. I was tired, and I really felt awful. And no, there's a part of me that's like, oh, maybe I should just stop. And I realized like that's the invitation to go through to the next level. And it's a mirror, right? Like when things get hard, we kind of want to go for something easy. At least that's been my journey. And I realized that I had to stay the course, and I came through it, and I feel amazing. And I know there's going to be more healing as we get into the deeper layers. And the beauty about having a food coach like Dorit, having a chronic pain coach, is that that person knows how to support you, how to be there when we should never be alone when we do things that are transformations. It's always good to have support and guidance and wisdom. And she immediately, because she's that kind of human being and coach, said, let's talk about it. Let me, and she's a busy person. So I am just grateful that she is my coach, my guide. She's helped me transform on not just food levels. I mean, there's so many layers to her coaching, because it's not just about fruit. It's about everything. It's about life. It's about what we do in how we show up and how we support the world around us. So thank you, Dorit.
Thank you, Lisa. And one of the most important things about detox that Lisa just said, and I want to make this very clear, detox is about detoxing what the person needs to release. It's what's blocking us. So when the body is blocked, it means the emotions are also, yes, exactly, Herb. It's a wave. It's waves of emotion, waves of pain and elation, waves of up, everything is up and down, and you're all over the place, because that's what life is in a physical body. And the most important part of life in a physical body, and the part that's really never taught much to us, is acceptance and gratitude for the joy of being alive in a physical body. Because when you're in a physical body, everything is possible. Nothing remains the same. Nothing stays. It's all transformatory. It's transformative, and you can change it. You can change it for what you wish to. And it's easy to change it if you have the proper guidance, because if you have the proper guidance, you begin to realize, oh, this is not something that's weird or strange. I'm not even ill. I'm not ill. And people don't realize that illness is part of the process. Illness is extremely important. So is physical pain. When the emotional and the mental pain come in, is because we resist the physical pain and we want to stop it. If you don't stop it and you breathe through it and you allow yourself to let the pain bring you to the realization that you have a physical body here on earth, let the gratitude in that you are able to experience life on earth, then all of a sudden it all changes. It's just shifting our attitude and shifting our stories. That's really what it is. So, Lisa, you actually survived this first phase of the cleanse. So tell us, what was the shift you made?
I just want to talk about something that has been really quite radical for me. I had lost a lot of my sense of smell. And I'm such a visual person. I told myself, well, that's okay. I just, I can live without smell. I mean, I could taste my food, but and I could, put my nose up to a bouquet, but I just was not smelling. And the biggest change, I would say, is that I can smell again. It could be that my sinuses have cleared that I didn't know about, or something. You might have more knowledge. I know you have more knowledge on this than I do, Dorit, but it's been incredible to like walk into that market and smell the abundance of fruit. It was just like, that's another level of pleasure that I just had forgotten how amazing that can be. And so that is, I would say, the biggest thing I'm deeply grateful for is I feel like coffee. She knows that I I was abusing coffee. I've always wanted energy, So I was doing 4 shots in the morning, and then I do 4 shots in the afternoon, and then do my matcha. I mean, I was abusing caffeine because I was looking for energy, and of course, robbing my body from energy at the same time. And so I was very, very, very dehydrated, and I would just be drinking copious amounts of water to compensate for that. And something I've noticed is I'm not thirsty anymore because I'm consuming so much fruit, and my coffee is down to like a little shot now in the morning. I don't need any of that stuff anymore because I'm taking care of my body and giving it what it needs. So that's another thing when people wonder like, oh, I'm going to spend money on fruit. Well, what are you not spending money on? You're not spending money on going to the doctor. You're not spending money on vitamins. You're not spending. And of course, there's a system around that, right? They want us to be where we need these things. I was just thinking about the grocery store today. And listen, I love a good grocery store, but there is something very magical about being at a farmer's market and connecting with a farmer. And I know another level is being on the farm and doing it there, but to have farmers and when you buy from them, you're buying something that's fresh, something that is connected to them. And it's interesting. I'm a reader of energy. So I was reading the energy of the farmers and trying to figure out who to buy from because, there were different vendors. And some people are just so connected. Like I had a little fruit shaman that just instructed to me and I could just feel his heart. And he just talked about the medicinal, properties. And it's just another level of experience. I was thinking, gosh, in America, I think a lot of us are taught like a farmer's market is something you do, but you don't get your groceries there. Right. And all my groceries are now, I don't need anything else really. And so that's another beautiful part of it. It connected me to my community. This is right outside my door. I made a friend when I was walking, and now we're going to go walking together. Like it just expands. It's like a ripple effect. It really is important to have those relationships with people. And that's another beautiful part of what you've taught me, Dorit.
Thank you. It's interesting because most of us have farmers markets nearby. We've never visited them. And for me, when I go to a new place, and I lived in a lot of different countries and different cities and places, the first thing I do is I go to the nearest farmers market and I connect with the farmers, because how else am I going to function if I'm not in touch with all the elements? We did some shows on all the 5 elements. And if you want to find all the 5 elements, go to a farm. Go to a farm. We forget who we are when we don't eat straight from nature. We forget that we ourselves are dependent on nature, and that food only comes from nature. It has never come from a lab. It is never manufactured and it's never processed. Herb, what advice would you give somebody who is listening today, and from your own experiences, when you started going towards fruits, what were the actual objections of others around you and how did you overcome them?
The objections from others, well, you just can't take any notice of anyone. I mean, just look around. Everyone, no disrespect to anyone else, but most of the people I see around me are unhealthy. You know, I can relate to them being unhealthy myself. Seeing the situation that we're in, like my poor father, he's not in the great state of health, and I see how his eating habits have formed his life and how that contributes to his health. And having related to that myself through food and being uncomfortable, and just knowing, just looking at fruit, you know, it's so vibrant and colorful and enriching, full of life. It's like, okay, I'm going to go straight to nature rather than a packet. You just automatically focus on yourself. That's all you can do, really.
Thank you for that. And can you just tell us very quickly as well, exactly how does your son respond seeing you only eat fruits, and does he also eat a high portion fruit?
Yeah, he loves it. He loves that. I eat fruit every time I go to the shop or supermarket to buy fruit. He's always with me. There's a supermarket close by where they offer free fruit for children. He's always there grabbing that, eating it. He loves it. He does enjoy fruit. He eats a lot of fruit. He doesn't eat only fruit. He has more of a varied diet than I do. That every time he's with me, he's inspired to eat as much fruit as he likes. At the moment, he's particularly fond of dragon fruits because I picked up a load of them. And yeah, he loves like making smoothies, getting involved. He's always been involved with me when I've made like juices or smoothies or fruit salads. We've shared fruit together. So yeah, he absolutely loves it, and he's in fact inspired his school friends as well to eat more fruit when we go foraging. We've been picking loads of plums like a few weeks ago, and brought all his friends along on our bikes, and yeah, we're feasting on plums and blackberries, and seeing him like leading the way and sharing his love and joy of fruit, inspiring others, is truly beautiful.
Did you videotape this? Because I love watching children go foraging.
I do have a clip of it somewhere. Yeah, I do have a clip of it. Yeah, I do.
Maybe he's okay if we shared it. Maybe next week or the week after.
Potentially, yes.
That would be wonderful, because children naturally go to fruit. Unless they have been really trained to only have things that are dry, like cereals, and things that have no color to them, then, and that they see everybody else eating it. Once they see fruits, they're really shocked and they're stunned, because fruit demands all of our senses. And I think, Lisa, when you were talking about the loss of your senses, I think very much that when we don't eat with our senses, we lose them. It's like an arm. If you don't use your arm, you eventually lose the faculty to use it. And when we don't eat with our senses, this is what happens. We do not eat with all of our senses when we sit down and eat things that are brown and beige, that are things that have been processed. Now, look at the thing. When people process things, they put back the colors from fruits in it, and they always use fruit coloring. Have you noticed? They use fruit coloring. So why not go straight to the fruit? Why are you making something that has no reason to be in the human body, and you use the fruit color to color it so people will eat it? And people actually do that, and they don't think for themselves and realize, what am I doing? This doesn't make any sense at all. So, Sabina, you also brought up a child, and the child saw you eating fruit all the time. And of course, now he's a teenager, and teenagers always go away from what we did and what we taught them. What has been your own lessons rearing a child on away from cooked food and now see him as a teenager? What is your experience?
Well, my experience is it's not easy, the experience to see the transformation, because when he was just like Herb's son, he would love fruits, he even would eat greens. I mean, he would eat everything that is fresh, everything that I gave him. But in my situation, his father is in a completely different lifestyle and diet, and he's part Japanese. So they always go for sushi and a lot of heavily dense cooked food, but especially the sushi, that what bothers me the most. I always encourage him at least eat the vegetarian sushi, but no, he doesn't want that. He wants, of course, the raw fish, which really concerns me because there's a lot of parasites in raw fish. So every weekend he has sushi. And so it's been difficult, when you co-parent with someone who's just not on the same page. So it's always been kind of almost like a war with my ex-husband in terms of not just food, also education. We're just not on the same page. He has a completely different view than I have, and he actually makes me wrong, So it's been very challenging dealing with that and seeing how my son does no longer want what I give him. He still eats it. Every morning I give him, before he goes to his class, I give him a plate of fresh fruit. And he eats it. But he always says, can we just have something else? Why don't we have pancakes? So, and then he threatens me. He tells me, once I'm 18, I'm never going to eat fruit ever again. He says things like that. So, yes, I'm a little concerned, but I also at the same time, I have to learn to let go, because once he's out of the house, he will do whatever. And maybe that's the lesson he needs to learn. Maybe he has never been sick in his entire life. He's 17 and a half. So that has to do because, first of all, many other things, but it definitely has to do with, what I've been feeding him and nourishing him. Also how I took care of myself when I was pregnant. So I definitely know it has something to do with it. And even he goes to his dad on the weekend. I always, when he used to come back, the first thing I would do, I put him on a trampoline. He would jump for an hour just to detox, because he was so intoxicated with all the sugar his dad, he gave him sodas and bacon and Fruit Loops, stuff from packages. When he come back, I noticed a difference in his energy. He was a different child than when I dropped him off on Friday. So I would put him an hour on the trampoline. That was just the medicine. I noticed he was getting back to himself. And then I would put him on fruits. And then I noticed he comes back to who he is. So it was always like the physical exercise and the fruits. And he got back to who he is. So, and he still jumps on the trampoline. Somehow the trampoline stuck because he still loves jumping. He's still jumping every day, at least an hour. And that has to do with detox, because it stimulates the lymphatic system and you're actually detoxing. So even he eats, also he goes now to school. They have a what's it called? I forgot the name, but where children get together and eat. It's like a big area. And of course, that is all processed food and it's not organic. It's all sprayed. So it's the worst they feed children in these schools. So I notice when he goes to the bathroom, it smells really bad, very different than what I feed him. So, but he still does the detox, the jumping and the trampoline. I give him the fruit in the morning. So something is still, he's still somehow on the path that he has not gotten sick. And we'll see what's going to happen when he's on his own. But I'm worried, but I choose to let go.
And yet, Sabina, the great news is that he will come back eventually. He will go away. Once he's 18, he leaves home. But he'll come back eventually to this, because he will find out that you gave him the basic health that he has, and will always come back to him, because he knows what it is like to feel healthy, and he will find out what it is like to be very unhealthy. And the fact he's still doing the trampoline means something stuck. So this is wonderful, Sabina. And you spoke about something which I think it's time for us to move into. When you eat only fruits, when you eat only these jewels. Oh, you never, ever, ever have smelly bowels. You never have gas. Your bowel movements are fresh and clean. And I forgot that people had smelly bowels until people come and use the toilet in my place. And now suddenly there was that smell. And it's like, oh, well, I just use the toilet. It's like, but you shouldn't be smelling. People also, when they sweat, they smell, and people put deodorant under their arms. Well, the deodorant is actually one of the worst things you could be doing then, because you're putting something as toxic in a place that's going to be actually absorbed into your body, and it's not taking care of the root cause of that stench. So that you can look forward to bowels that are just clean and beautiful, and bowel movements that are easy. And I forgot that people strain themselves through bowel movements as well. Totally forgot until somebody the other day said to me, can you help me? Somebody said that you will help me with, she said, it's so painful for me to go to the toilet. And I thought, I didn't understand what you're talking about. And there's more things that I teach clients, not just, how to eat fruits, but I teach them, that we naturally should go to the toilet in a squat position, not sitting on this throne. That's actually not great for elimination at all. So there's so much that it goes beyond the fruit, but the fruit makes the movement, it moves. It's a movement. It's a true movement. From here to the other end, it's a true movement. And so did you find any difference with your bowel movements this week? I mean, are you going more or less, Lisa?
I'm laughing because it's a topic that I don't generally speak about. I just was making a joke with friends about that. But yes, it's been a very pleasant experience. Thank you.
Yeah, it's everything. It's everything that changes.
We're human, right? It's definitely, and I know people don't have pleasant experiences with it if they're not taking care of their body, right? So that's another benefit.
When we change what we put into our bodies, so what we eat or we drink, everything changes in our lives. It's not just our appetite. It's not just the fact that all our senses become enhanced because they're being fed what they need. It's all our entire life changes. The way we see ourselves, the way we present ourselves to ourselves and therefore to others, the way that we acknowledge our own presence in our own lives. Most of us go through life without acknowledging our own presence. We're just regurgitating what others say, doing what others tell us to do or want us to do, or what others are doing. But we become all of a sudden more internalized and begin to realize we have the power within us and we can change anything we want. Have you just noticed this about your own self, Herb?
Have I noticed what, sorry, Dorit?
That you become you begin to be in touch with the power internally, with your own powers internally. Your decisions start coming from you and not from everybody else on the outside. It's not a part of society.
Oh my goodness. Eating fruit is an act of rebellion for me against the system and society. It's led me to be more in tune with my intuition, with life being so much more vivid due to being highly receptive and sensitive. Most certainly. I'm not dictated by cravings or addictions anymore. With my senses so much heightened, I can enjoy the simplicities of life that many of us, and myself included in the past, often miss. It's right under our noses. It's there for us to enjoy. And we miss that because we're clogged up or eating dense things, we're distracted. So yeah, totally.
Yes, so when we eat things that are dense, we become dense. Our thoughts and our thought processes become dense. Our feelings are dense. It's almost like we no longer have feelings. But there's this almost anger underneath because we know something is not right. there's almost a resistance within us, and we're not sure what that is. We think we're being resistant to an event, an experience, a person, but no, it's deeper than that. So, Lisa, this week has been a shift for you. Can you tell us what other shifts you found? And I want also to go back to you going to the farmers market, because did you go to the farmers market before? Because it's so close to you.
I have been, but not on a regular basis. It's because it's on a Thursday. I don't really operate on time. kind of have my own rhythm with life. So it's always like, oh, there it is. I should go. And I have been a couple times, but it's interesting. I had forgotten that today was Thursday. I mean, I know I had the podcast, but I didn't really define what day that is. I just knew. And I got up early and I went with my boyfriend to Erewhon to he got me a smoothie. And we saw the farmer's market and I'm like, I've been talking to Dorit, I need to go. And I know why I need to get fresh fruit from the source. And so I just kind of jumped out of the car and wandered around and took it all in. And, it's so beautiful. It's right on the ocean. I mean, that's the backdrop of this farmer's market. And because where I live is a little bit off the beaten path. It's a lot off the beaten path. A lot of people don't come, and it's so beautiful. I mean, just the view alone, the smells, and I was just thinking about how, like, the things that you can get and beyond even fruit was like this woman I met who had crafted her own skin oils. She's Jamaican, and her candles, and how much love she poured into her. I could feel it, the love in her business, and the scent, like it wasn't just rose, like some rose scent that kind of comes, you no longer smell in a few minutes. It was like deeply infused. So like that smell that she gave me, I could smell it throughout the time I was in the market. And I think that we are so disconnected from that. Like I was thinking, what would the world be like if we were still like this? We just were local people doing our thing, right? Like somebody's performing, somebody's writing, somebody's selling a fruit, like how different this world would be if we were like this. And I know not all areas support farms. The world has got different, but what would the world be like if it was this alive? And I think that's why it's such a gift that you are using this platform, Dorit, because I think a lot of times when people hear things like this, they think, oh, and I've been guilty. Like it's always, there's always somebody doing something. There's a, carnivore or a vegan, or, there's a lot of different people doing different things. And I think what makes the most sense is things that come from the earth, and being kind and connecting with each other. Those are the most important things. So it is not just there's so much information in the food, in the fruit. Like for me, it's like, it's a living being that I am connecting with and putting in my body. And that's another thing that we have to be mindful about. Like, what are we consuming? Not just the fruit, but what are we looking at? What spell are we falling into here? And I think that's the greatest shift, is you start to realize, like I had a deep realization during this, that I knew there's programming, but I didn't realize how loud and how instilled the programming is. I knew that there was programming. I know that to be true, but on a deep level, we're being programmed. We're being manipulated. We're being told that there's something outside of ourselves, or, that we can't, like even just like, if you're going to age, this is what it's going to look like, right? It's going to, if you follow this journey, right, to the hospital, but you can wake up. You can be a sovereign citizen here. You can make your own choices. You do not have to follow, because we see how this plays out. We see where this goes, right? You're sick, you're inflamed, you're easily controlled, you're weak. You don't have the energy, like me in bed, I'm depressed. Well, the body is talking to you at all times. And I think a lot of times we're told to go grab something outside of ourselves for 5 minutes to get relief. But if we just listen to our bodies and start to feed our body with the right things, we'll start to learn that life can support us on this really amazing journey. And that's the benefit of what I've been through.
And Herb used the word vivid. Life can be vivid. As you see, you're now smelling, your sense of smell is returned. So, Pete, can you tell us, and just joining what Lisa was saying, it seems that there is so much opposition to being healthy. I see it as opposition. People who are healthy are never celebrated, but people who have cancer, all of a sudden they get so much attention and they're celebrated, and people are so kind to them all of a sudden and so nice to them. But if you're very, very healthy, people don't seem to really care about you very much. What do you? Lisa talks about the system, and that it's to control us. How do we get out of that? How do we actually begin to pull away from being controlled and take control back for our own lives?
Well, first of all, it takes awareness, seeing what's going on in our life, seeing what is wrong with society, the direction we're going as humanity, because the course it's taken is a course of destruction, death and destruction. Just look at everywhere around us, all these fast food places. It's just I'm not criticizing anyone, but it is really unhealthy. Society is unhealthy. And with that awareness, it takes courage to begin to stand out from the crowd, and having that conviction that you don't want to live this life. You can see into the future. You can see our elders, how much of a sad situation that they're in, and like walking with canes and wheelchairs and needing support, needing carers. Just that is a stark contrast to see, and having that. And having that courage to stand out from the crowd and not care what people think. Fear is what holds us back from making a difference. And if we can find that love within ourselves, which we all have, is just freeing ourselves from the mind, from the conditioning, from the programming. And it is very easy to see through it. We all know it. It's just that we are afraid to do something different from everyone else. So it really does come down to having courage and love and having that conviction to make a difference to yourself. And especially what spurred me on the most as well, that I cared about the animals. I wanted to contribute towards them. I didn't want to contribute to the unnecessary harm and suffering to innocent sentient beings. So I have deep love and respect and appreciation for nature. So I found that by eating fruit, I am supporting nature. I am supporting the animals. I'm not supporting this society that is leading itself to destruction. And I like to be an example and be that guided light for others to see, oh, look, you can do it this way. And that's what sits strongly with me. And it's all in us as well. And I highly encourage everyone to lead themselves and help others lead themselves.
So you're a professional cyclist. Are there other cyclists with whom you ride that eat anywhere close to you? And how do they respond when they see what you're eating?
There isn't many. I mean, I know a lot of top athletes and cyclists eat a lot of fruit, eat a lot of carbohydrate to sustain that level. But when I first kind of exploded on the scene, so to speak, in the cycling realm, making new friends, they were shocked and blown away by what I was eating, how many bananas I was eating, getting through. I was getting through like 20 bananas a day, and that was a shock to many people. They say, what? Even 8 bananas was a lot, and I told them that was in one smoothie. So, and I'd carry dates, scheduled dates, so the perfect fuel on the bike, and all these little. I bought something new, I believe, because I didn't see anyone else doing that, and yeah, I felt. I mean, I put the message out there. There was some resistance. People wanted to stick to their ways, stop at the cafes and eat cake and stuff like that. I'm not going to take that away from anyone, but I showed them that without that and focus on fruit, you can have this amazing energy and push really, really hard up the hills and make it home in one piece with a smile on your face and dancing through the night. So yeah.
Thank you for that. So I've actually trained marathoners, and when they run the marathon, I would show up with a coconut and have them drink coconut water instead of that absolutely ridiculous Gatorade. And they were never tired at the end of the race. They were never exhausted. Whereas the other people who drank the Gatorade, they sure were. So Sabina, tell us, how do you, when you go into public, when you actually socialize, how do you get away from people criticizing you the way you eat, or do they? And also, how do you handle that?
Wow, that's a good question. Interesting. So I have, let's say, hardly been socializing just for that reason. I used to, and I always got the weird looks because I barely ate anything, maybe a little bit of lettuce and some carrots. But yeah, I stopped actually going, and I realized in the area where I live, it's all based on drinking beer, drinking wine, a lot of drinking here, and the food is very dense. Even some people are vegetarian, it's still, it's heavily cooked in oils. So I came to the point I realized that I hardly resonate with anyone here. And my goal is actually to move into the tropics as soon as my son is grown up. So the last 2 years, I actually have been mainly being by myself. I have one friend, she's an hour away. She's actually a raw food chef. So I connect with her on a food level, but then in some other areas, we don't connect at all. So I have gone deep for many, many years on personal development. So I have individuated to such a degree that there are not many people I resonate any longer. But I do resonate with most of my friends in Europe, even they're not in the same diet. Interesting. That's what's very interesting to see this summer when I went to Europe. I had such a beautiful, like really deep heart-to-heart connection with my friend in Germany, also a friend in Switzerland. We don't eat the same food, but there was this love exchange that took place when we, it was such a beautiful connection. We would be talking and suddenly it was 1 a.m. We were not even tired. And I realized it goes beyond just the food, because there's some people, we're on the food the same on the same agenda, but I don't connect with them. And then others, there's a beautiful connection, but we don't have the food connection. So, I'm in this phase of my life that I'm really, looking where would I like to live, and especially what kind of people I want to have in my life, because at the end it's all about energy, and I no longer want to be around people. They are very critical and they're constantly complaining and whining that life is so hard and talking about politics and Hollywood. I no longer want to resonate, want to be frequent with people in that frequency. So I've been really mainly by myself for several years now, living alone. And I know it's not healthy because we all need community. So I'm just right now, let's say, planting seeds for my next destination. And I'm exploring possibly moving to Mexico, possibly Costa Rica. I could also see myself in the south of Europe, but I will be living here in this area.
Spain has a lot of incredible fruit. Spain does. It's amazing. Thank you for that. Most of the people in my life have no idea what I eat. I would say 99% and maybe more have no idea because I've never made it an issue. Never. And because I don't do much around food. And I do go to restaurants with them, but they don't even realize I'm not eating. And I eat before I go, or I drink, or I'll call the restaurant and I said, can I please bring my coconut in? And would you mind if I'll tip the waiter? Would you mind serving it to me? And they allow me to. As soon as they hear that I'm a chef, oh my gosh, they're just so open and they go, you drink coconut water from the husk? Oh my gosh, we should try it too. Chefs are so open to things like that. So you can always ask the chef, call a restaurant beforehand and say, can I drop something off for myself to eat? And when when your family or friends come to eat, you have a plate of whatever it is you want already in the kitchen and they just bring it out and serve it. You pay you tip the waiter and you pretend that the restaurant made it, and they have no clue. Absolutely no clue. So Lisa, you actually, because you're such a prolific writer, you wrote some things this week about your transformation experience. Would you mind sharing with us, please?
Which one would you like me to share? Because there's been many.
Anyone.
Pick a poem. Well, I will go. I am on the ready for you, my friend. This is about, I wrote a love letter. I've been writing, one of the parts of my transformation is I've been writing a lot of love letters to myself, which has been incredibly healing. And when I started this podcast, one thing I said to Dorit was I had been living in the attic and not my body. And I haven't been on this podcast for very long. So this is a pretty big shift that I'm in my body. And this is called I Love My Body. I love my body. I am holy, alive, sacred. A Sanskrit of lines connecting me to my ancestors. A temple of devotion, a repository of pain. A heart that once ached but still keeps me alive. This breath I find myself holding expands into divinity. This laugh connects me to my father. These thighs connect me to my mother. In my face, I see my father again. This body has carried me, even when ignored, patiently waiting for me to come home. Now I return. I am safe, I am here, and I am loved.
And I'm enamored with everything that you write, Lisa. This is just spectacular. So next week, Lisa will be taking over because next week is my biggest fast day of Yom Kippur. And then it always follows with a 3-day fast that I do. And then afterwards, I go into a parasite cleanse. Twice a year, I do a parasite cleanse. So this is the time of year. So I won't be here next year, but Lisa will be in charge here. And I look forward very much to rejoining you all in 2 weeks when we have someone that Herb has recommended, Stella, who will be here as our special guest in the UK. Thank you so much, Herb. And to everyone who's listening, please click the like button if this served you and also the subscribe button. This really helps us continue on this path. Thanks, everyone, and see you all in 2 weeks. But next week, come back when Lisa will be leading our co-hosts into another spectacular Being Healthy episode. Bye.